Once upon a time, there is a thirsty crow flying here and there in search of water. After searching a long time, he found a bottle with a quarter filled water. His beak does not reaching the water level. He got an idea. He picked up a little stone in his beak and put it in the bottle. After repeating this practice for a while, the crow realized that the water level is increasing. After the hard working of some time, the beak of crow reached the water level, and the thirsty crow drank the water and flew away. On a hot day, the sun was shining hot. An ant, parched and exhausted, discovered a spring glinting enticingly in the distance. The ant fought her way up a blade of grass to reach the water but slipped, finding herself into the fast-running spring, the world splashing and churning in confusion around her. Suddenly, a leaf floated down from above, a beacon of salvation amidst the chaos. An observant dove, perched high up on a branch, had seen her struggle and tossed down a lifeline. As the ant gratefully climbed onto her lifeline, we see a hunter stealthily approach, poised to ensnare the compassionate dove. Like a tiny hero, the ant rushed in, bit the hunter on his heel, distracting him long enough for the dove to fly to safety. The dove's single act of kindness towards the ant was reciprocated in its time of greatest peril, showing how the ripple effects of compassion can traverse species boundaries, changing the face of fate. Through our actions, we can change the world. Once upon a time, two friends, a fast-running hare and a steady tortoise living in a deep forest. Life was peaceful until one day, in a fit of arrogance, the hare challenged his friend, the tortoise, to a grand race. Animals gathered to witness the ultimate race. The hare, confident in his imminent victory, sprinted ahead, vanishing within the forest's rustling leaves. Meanwhile, the tortoise, secure in his perseverance, kept a steady pace. As the sun reached its zenith, the hare, far ahead, decided to rest till the time of his easy victory. The tortoise steadily moving to his destination. When the hare awoke, he realized to his dismay, the tortoise was nowhere in sight. Racing towards the finish line, he choked on the echoes of the forest's laughter as he saw the tortoise, already there, surrounded by cheering friends. This unforgettable race taught the inhabitants of the forest a timeless lesson. Never underestimate the power of consistency and perseverance. Once, there was a dog who wandered the streets night and day in search of food. One day, he found a big, juicy bone, and he immediately grabbed it in his mouth and took it home. On his way home, he crossed a river and saw another dog with a bone in its mouth. He wanted that bone for himself, too. But as he opened his mouth, the bone he was biting fell into the river and sank. That night, he went home hungry. Moral of the story: if we always envy others, we'll lose what we already have, just like the greedy dog. The proud rose. In the desert existed a rose and a cactus. The beautiful rose would take every opportunity to insult the cactus. The other plants tried to defend the cactus, but the rose was too obsessed with its own looks. There was no water during a particularly hot summer. The rose started to wither away, but the cactus had become a source of water for sparrows. The rose asked the cactus for water, and the nice cactus readily agreed. Moral: never judge someone according to how they look. Once upon a time, in a world filled with vibrant colors and cheerful tunes, a giggling baby begins an extraordinary adventure. Riding on the back of a fluffy, soft-purring cat, they journey through rolling green hills, their heartwarming song echoing from the mountaintop to the valley below. Laughter and joy resonate in the air, making flowers bloom and birds dance to their rhythm. Finally, the baby hops onto a warm, snuggly puppy. Trotting through city lanes and urban landscapes, they serenade everyone they encounter. From the old man feeding pigeons in the park to the young artist painting her next masterpiece, they fill the city with mirth, the baby's giggles mixing with the puppy's playful barks. Then, the baby meets a stunning, shimmering butterfly. It carries them above treetops, their laughter and music now a soothing lullaby for the creatures of the night. The Fox and the Grapes. A short story of the fox and the grapes. Once there was a hungry fox who stumbled upon a vineyard. After seeing the round, juicy grapes hanging in a bunch, the fox drooled. But no matter how high he jumped, he couldn't reach for it. So he told himself that it was probably sour and left. That night, he had to sleep on an empty stomach. Moral of the story: most of us tend to act like the fox. When we want something but think it's too hard to attain, we make excuses. We tell ourselves that it's probably not that great instead of working hard for it.
Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush jungle, lived a fluffy hen with her adorable chicks. Attuned to the symphony of the wilderness, the hen shared her magical gift, the ability to sing quaint, melodious tunes. Every morning, their day began with an enchanting serenade that echoed across the jungle, awakening every creature with its harmonious rhythm. Undeterred by the vastness of the jungle, the hen and her chicks roamed freely, their dulcet melodies painting a trail of friendship with every being they met. The jungle had many mouths, but only one heart, and their song struck a chord within. Every foreign sound and unusual chirp was a new note, a fresh beat that they incorporated into their songs, effortlessly fusing the cacophony of the jungle into a symphony. As the sun sets in twilight, the furry family retires to rest. The harmony remains lingering in the air, patching the silence of the night until dawn when they begin again. This is the wholesome tale. Lazy John, a boy named John, was so lazy that he would not even bother changing his clothes. One day he saw an apple tree. He really felt like eating some apples, but being lazy, he didn't climb the tree to get the fruits. He laid underneath the tree and waited for the fruits to fall, but the apples never fell. In the end, he was left, starving. Moral of the story: don't end up being lazy, as it won't get you anywhere. In order to achieve something, one has to work hard for it. Our adventure begins in the frozen, serene landscapes of the North Pole, where a curious little polar bear cub, drawn by a mysterious, bobbing ship in the distance, stealthily hops on for an adventure. Unaware of its small, furry stowaway, the seafaring crew charters into the unknown, oblivious of the delightful chaos about to unfurl. As they navigate through roaring waves and starry nights, they encounter an unexpected surprise. The polar bear cub, once a stranger, now an amusing trooper aboard their ship. Its playful antics cause a stir, inspiring bouts of laughter that echo throughout the ship, replacing their routine monotony with lighthearted cheer and incredible fascination. Through this unexpected friendship and shared journey, not only does the polar bear cub learn about the vast sea beyond its icy home, the crew too discovers the joy in embracing the whimsical and the wild. The Elephant and the Ants. Once upon a time, in a forest there lived an elephant who took pleasure in troubling smaller animals. He would march up to the ant colony and shower water on them. Seeing the ants quiver and cry in pain would make the elephant laugh. He would threaten to kill them. One day, the ants decided that they couldn't keep on suffering like this and wanted to teach the elephant a lesson. They entered his trunk and started messing with him. Now, it was the elephant who cried in pain. Realizing his mistake, the elephant immediately apologized to the ants and other animals he had troubled in the past. Moral of the story: be down to earth. Never forget your roots. Treat everyone with respect. In case you are in a position bigger than others, then use that to protect them instead of hurting them. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. The story about the boy who cried wolf. There was once a shepherd boy who liked to play tricks. One day, while he was watching over the herd, the boy decided to play a trick and cried, "Wolf! Wolf!" The people who heard rushed over to help him, but they were disappointed when they saw no wolf, and the boy laughed at them. The next day he did it again, and people rushed to his aid, only to be disappointed again. On the third day, the boy saw a wolf devouring one of his sheep and cried for help. But the people who heard him thought this was just another of the boy's pranks, so no one came to help him. That day, the boy lost some of his sheep to the wolf. Moral of the story: if you always lie and cheat on other people, there will come a time when no one will believe you anymore.
The Lion and the Poor Slave. The story about the lion and the poor slave. There was once a slave who was treated cruelly by his master. One day, he couldn't take it anymore and ran to the forest to escape. There, he chanced upon a lion who couldn't walk because of the thorn in its paw. Although scared, the slave mustered his courage and took out the thorn in the lion's paw. When the lion was finally free of the thorn, he ran into the forest and didn't harm the slave. Sometime later, the slave was caught by his master along with some animals in the forest. The master then ordered the slave to be thrown into the lion's den. When the slave saw the lion, he recognized it as the lion he helped in the forest. The slave was able to escape the den unharmed, and he freed all the other animals. Moral of the story: the good you did will always have a way of returning to you. 7. The golden egg. A farmer had a goose that laid one golden egg a day. He would sell the golden eggs and they enjoyed a comfortable life. However, the farmer became greedy and wanted more than one egg a day. His wife foolishly agreed to his idea. The next day, the farmer cut open the goose after it laid the golden egg. He could only find blood and guts. He realized his mistake. He now had no source of income, and the couple became poorer every day. Moral: think before you act.